My name is Brian Powell. I've been using Erik Erickson's hypnotherapy scripts for many years with clients. They're very useful for addressing things like pattern behavior, pattern thinking, anxiety, trauma, relationships and boundaries, and even pain management. You need a quiet spot where you can be for about 20 minutes. I'll read an introduction and a middle section and an outro where you'll come back to wakeful awareness. So relax, just let it kind of flow over you, and let me know how it goes. Thank you. I know that sometimes it is difficult to relax, or to learn how to relax more than you have before. And so, as you sit there with your eyes closed and begin to become aware of your own thoughts, of your own sensations, I begin to wonder if you've ever had the pleasure of sitting on the bank of a river or on the shore of a lake or ocean, because there's something very comforting about just sitting there, listening to the peaceful sound of the waves as they move in and out in a continuous flow that just seems to go on and on, relaxing in the sun, feeling the soothing warmth, and just letting the mind drift effortlessly with that quiet, almost silent sound in the background of awareness. I'm not even sure you've ever done that before, relaxed in that way, listening to the peaceful quietness of water washing the shore. Perhaps it was a waterfall or just a silent place in the center of the woods, a happy memory of contentment, or just a dream of a place so comfortable and safe that it was easy to relax the body, to relax, to allow the body to relax, everything to relax. I don't know, but I do know that everyone has a place they can go, a relaxing space, deep down inside. They can really let go of all their cares and concerns and wonder at the wonder of those waves of relaxation, at the smooth heaviness of arms and legs as relaxation continues. Maybe it was the warm smoothness of the soft white sand you could hold in your hand and watch flow effortlessly through your fingers. The same sand that flows in an hourglass, hour after hour, with nothing to do for a time except let go and flow. Warm, heavy sand, listening to the waves of relaxation, secure inside and out. While you were sitting there by the shore, forgetting to make the effort it takes even to try to be aware of when or where that relaxation began and the soothing sounds or sensations were. And what about Beethoven, who became increasingly deaf as he got older, but kept on working, writing music that he could not hear, until one day, one evening, he conducted the symphony as they played his newest work, a concerto. And when it was finished, the crowd erupted in applause. They stood and cheered, but he could not hear. He stood there, facing the orchestra, unaware of the audience's approval, until someone walked out and turned him around, so he could see what he could not hear. Only then did he know what everyone needs to know, but sometimes cannot hear. Like the woman I've heard of, black hair, black eyes, stocky build, a bright professional woman who hated herself and hated her life. She thought she was ugly and awful, and she thought that was why so many awful things had happened to her. But one day, she was having lunch with a friend, an artist she had known for a time, and she said to her friend that there were so many beautiful women, and they all seemed to be on that street that day. And her friend simply said, "I think you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen," and went on eating as if it were nothing. And that simple observation, that simple statement of opinion, matter of fact, not flattery, wouldn't go away, couldn't be undone. Her friend was an artist who knew what beauty was, so she could not ignore it, and she could not forget it. Instead, she began to look at herself each day in the mirror, and she began to look at others, how they looked, who they were with, and it was very hard and scary at first to realize how wrong she had been, how wrong her mother had been, how wrong she had been about herself in so many different ways. But over time, she began to accept it. She was not ugly. She was not stupid. And she was not a bad person. She was attractive and likable and nice, and she did not have to settle for less than she deserved. How she thought changed. How she felt changed. What she did changed. Her life changed. All because of one brief comment, one brief glimpse of herself, a clear admission of something she'd been unable to let herself know before. That truth is beauty, and beauty, truth. And the truth about oneself, one's beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. But what we hear is not always measured on a hearing test. Beethoven heard things in his mind that his ears could no longer hear. And many animals can hear sounds that the human ear cannot. And all we ever need to hear is that there is nothing else we need to do except hear the beauty of what is. It is easy to pay close attention to things that are wrong. It's easy to be a critic, to find fault with everything. It's easy to not like yourself, or to not trust yourself to be okay. It's harder to have the courage to see things in a different light. It's harder to take a risk, to enjoy yourself, your life, and other people. It's easy to find reasons to not feel good, to not feel comfortable, to hide from oneself and others. It's hard just to say, what the heck, to not care what anyone thinks. It's hard to give yourself permission to feel good no matter what. Or is it? Maybe it's easy. Maybe it's easy to do. But you have been afraid to do it because you do not know how. And you can do it now, but sometimes it feels wrong to really believe you're okay when you might be wrong. But who's to say? And so, for now on, I want you to know it's okay to do that crazy thing, to let yourself feel that way. You can do it now, today, and you can do it tomorrow. You can see what is okay about you and what you do. You can see those things quite clearly, and you can feel quite comfortable too. You can alter your mind and alter your mood, even if you have to pretend for a while that this new way of thinking and feeling is because of something you took or something that was done to you, and you really can't help it. That's just the way you feel. Confident, happy, and pleased, until that feeling becomes real. So do it now, or just let your unconscious do it for you, so you don't have to know what's gotten into you when your whole way of thinking about you changes. And so, before you allow yourself to drift up completely into conscious, wakeful alertness, it may be useful for you to utilize the opportunity now to think about what you've experienced, the thoughts, images, understandings, and how you might use these things later on, from one day to the next, because you have an unconscious mind and you have a conscious mind, and those two minds can learn from your experiences here today. Some things you can utilize to deal more effectively with those things that have been problems for you before. And so, before you continue to drift up into conscious awareness, normal wakeful awareness, it is your privilege to use this comfortable self-awareness to become more aware of those things you can use later on. Those learnings, abilities, and skills you may have overlooked before, to give you a new view of the possibilities for a new way of thinking and feeling and doing things. That's right. Take some time now. A brief time that seems to be a long time, to review and plan at some level of awareness those things you will do later on, those things you may change later on, as you begin to use more and more of you. You can use that time now, because in a few moments, when you drift up and awaken, it may be interesting for you to know that in that drifting, relaxed state of mind, where thoughts drift by like dreams, that enter awareness for a time and drift through the mind, while some are left behind to be utilized later on, and others are remembered, or seem to be remembered at first, but then become more and more distant, forgotten over time, and the entire experience can seem so far away, as your unconscious mind protects the conscious mind and leaves those things behind, forgotten but remembered too. And time changes too, so you can know what a trance it's been when you begin to know that what seemed to take a short time turns out to have been a long time, or what seemed a long time was really no time at all. So for now, as the unconscious mind allows the conscious mind to become more aware of sounds, sounds in the room, the sound of my voice, the sensations in an arm, a leg, the variety of thoughts and feelings as the conscious mind drifts up. And conscious wakeful awareness returns quite completely now, up to the surface of wakeful awareness, restfully refreshed, comfortably awake, even as the mind drifts up completely, and the eyes are allowed to open now. That's right. eyes open, and wakeful awareness returns quite completely now.